All right, we are live, and the New York Mets, they're a baseball team. They're a baseball team that plays their games in Flushing Meadows, Queens. They win some games, they lose some games. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they pitch. Most of the times they don't. I don't really know what else to say about this. It's June 13th, and we're in this mode with this fucking team.
We have so many podcasts to go.
So many podcasts to go. But luckily, to get us through those podcasts, we have ourselves a Coors Light, because there's times where we're going to be just, hurt and crying, a little heated about it all. But Coors Light's going to be there to cool us down, chill us out. There's plenty of chances in life to make things better by choosing chill. Grab every opportunity to choose chill, then reach for a refreshing Coors Light. Father's Day, that's the one thing I'm asking for all the dads on Sunday to do. Go in the fridge, even better, have one of your kids go in the fridge, get you a nice cold Coors Light, pop it open, and just let those Blue Mountains do the work.
If your kids are old enough to know colors, they're old enough to get you a beer. Find the silver and blue, bring it to daddy.
One of the best parts of fatherhood is when you realize your kids can actually do stuff for you, and like they will willingly do it occasionally.
Yep.
One of the few highlights there. So Coors Light is mountain cold refreshment, crisp and refreshing as the Colorado Rockies, not the baseball team, which is basically us at this point. So you can throw the New York Mets in there. We love ourselves a Coors Light. So New York, choose chill and reach for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, boys, we're back. Hey, we split a series in London. Biggest series in Mets and Phillies history. Absolutely stunning stuff. Ravishing on the pitch. Absolutely marvelous.
Hey, I got to give big credit to that announcer, man.
Yep.
The announcer was great. I mean, we can do this on this episode today because Lord knows I don't want to talk about this team. I heard that announcer call that play, the game-winning play. And I was like, damn, foreign announcers are so much better than American announcers. And then I caught myself and I was like, wait, no, they're not. Like, we got like the great Vin Scully, we got the Mike Breens, we got all those guys who came through Fordham. But there is a definite difference in foreign and American. And I think it's a rare thing where it's like a 50-50 split for me, where it's like, depends on the game being played, depends on the people involved. American has a style, foreign has a style. European, and it was like, I could probably go like, it's a great debate for me. If you went bar for bar, guy for guy, if you're talking soccer, you're doing Spanish announcers, British announcers doing football, all of it. It is, it's a very interesting dichotomy. And then you hear the Michael K version.
That's what I was going to say.
Castellanos swings 1, 2, and that's the game. I was like, what? What is 1 and 2? Nobody knows what fucking happened if they're just listening to you asshole. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy how bad he is.
That was a tough look. I will. So I'm with you, Kev, because like the American announcers, we're kind of just used to it. That's just our everyday. And then you hear the calls, whether it's the British guy who was electric, even it's like double play, where it's like it doesn't come off the tongue as much because we've been saying double play since we could talk, right? Where it seems like a little more new to him. Then wrestling fans, Spanish announcers table, they're always bringing
Yeah, I love when it's like gibberish Spanish and then they say the American name and then it's just gibberish. Yeah. It speaks so fast.
Oh, like even like the field goals and the super, like even all that shit. It's absolutely electric.
And of course, like the in like South American soccer, like sounds like a fucking ambulance. I think the difference is we hear all the highlight plays. We don't hear like the boring middle of the game broadcast. So we can't really give it a fair shake. But I bet if it was like if you were to play me like highlight American, highlight foreign, I would be back and forth. I'd be flipping and flopping with who I think is better.
You should be able to choose, especially when it's games like that. It's like if you're going to go to London, I want the full London experience. I don't want Michael K not even realizing that there's a pinch hitter in the game and still calling him like Harrison Bader for 4 pitches. I'm like, what are we doing?
I think he might do it on purpose. I think he really might do it on purpose. Like just to and just be like, I don't give a shit about this team. Like they're so inconsequential. I think he would be petty enough to do that. I think if you get, I have the MLB app, and you usually can pick TV or radio, and then within there you can pick home or away. So they do give you options. I wonder if for that game you could have. I'm sure they gave the British broadcast. It's just so much better. And I think there's always a novelty about the accent when you hear someone talking baseball with a British accent. It's just such a difference,
And I think getting to your point about it being like the special and the highlights, like if you listen to soccer, it's like the first time you listen, like the World Cup's on, and you're like, oh man, I love this announcing. And then by like the end of it, you're just used to it, right? There's nothing really all that special. And then you have your great moments. So it's great no matter what. Oh, we're talking soccer. Of course, that means Meek Phil is in. Meek Phil.
Oh, Meek Phil is the soccer expert.
Apparently.
Welcome, Meek. How are we doing, pal?
Oh, we won last night, so that's good.
Oh, breaking news. Mets won last night.
Honestly, let's go around in the trust tree. How many games have all you guys watched? Like within the last week, since the last podcast.
The only game I missed was Tuesday because I was helping out Tommy for his art thing.
So
I don't want to spoil.
You're still watching every game you can.
Yeah.
Clem?
Yeah, I watched everyone but the 10 a.m.
1, 2, 3. Since last, so we were off a bunch. So I got 3. I got the Philly. I watched the London game, and then I guess you could give me. So I got half a London game, the first one, whole London game, second one. So it's 1.5, and then I was in and out of both Marlins games. So I put it together 2.5.
I watched one London game, and that was only because it was London. I was like, let me just tune in and see, how this is all going. If it wasn't,
I pull it up on my phone now. I just swipe it up, and then you have the little screen. I'm not even committed enough for them to be able to take up my entire phone.
Oh yeah, okay.
Screen.
So wait, you're
it's
still
picture
watching
in picture.
You're not.
Yeah, or I'm doing something.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, Kevin. No.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, who is sitting down and watching the Mets?
They don't get the prime screen at this point in the season.
Phil,
you got to get to 500 if you want the big screen.
Phil, out of your 18 screens in your room, which number are the Mets in terms of size?
They're on the main TV.
Wow.
That's wild.
You're so sick.
I let AJ play video games on the big screen. And I go the little screen. The Mets do not get audio in this house. In this household,
Okay.
The New York Metropolitans do not get audio. That's
what I was going to say. So I tuned into the London game as my only form of entertainment for that in that time period. Other than that, 0 games. I'm not even doing the phone. I'm like checking scores. I'm like, I had to speak for a moment about the people who tell me that we're 3.5 games out of the wild card. That is a mathematical fact. You are not wrong. But when you do that, go to the standings, sort it by wild card, and take a look where we fall on the page. Because there is only 2 fucking teams beneath us. There's only 2 teams in the entire National League that are worse than 3.5 games out. So you are still the 3rd worst team in the National League. There's only 2 actually horrific teams, and I can't even believe we're not closer. I think the Rockies are next at 9.5, and then there's someone who's the Marlins maybe are 10.
The Marlins.
It's like just give it time, and over time we will be fucking 10 games out. I guess maybe I'll end up being wrong because this year in baseball is exceptionally bad. I think the Rocket had a tweet the other day saying the Red Sox were right at 500. And there was only a handful of teams above 500, and the rest of the league is all under 500. But, when you're 10 games under, I don't care what the second wild card standings are. You're a shitty fucking team. It's like I can't even take you seriously if you're talking about games out when I'm talking about games under because who fucking cares? Even if they made it, let's say they somehow make it. You're a terrible fucking team.
And if they do make it and they are making a push and they are competitive, we're fucking ourselves in the long
future.
run because that last season we ended up with the record we ended up with because we punted at the deadline.
Right.
We could have won more games, sure, but would we have gone anywhere? No. So that's the point we're at now where everyone's looking at this wild card and it's like July 1st is coming up quick in the rear view.
If they buy, I'm not watching. I'm not even I'm off the podcast. I'm off the podcast. If they buy, I'm off the podcast. It's like
Console the KFC.
Console the whole fucking show. I can't even fathom. It's not like we're a good team that's underachieving and it's like, oh, we're going to get Alvarez back and we make a move and here comes the cavalry and it's all going to click. Because that's like what 2015 was, where it's like we got all these fucking aces and it's not really working, but it could at any moment. And then it did. This team is devoid of talent. Like they all are bad. It's just that everyone else is bad too. I don't know what's happening in baseball this year, but being bad along with the other bad teams does not get me going, does not make me interested. I don't want to talk about it, and I don't think they have a future.
This is a stat that tells you how bad baseball is this year, how bad teams are. The Braves have their first 5-game losing streak since 2017.
Jeez,
Yeah.
Christ.
The Braves are losing 5 games in a row. That's how
crazy.
bad baseball is this year.
I have Austin Riley on my fantasy. I'm like, oh, let me see what he's doing this year because I'm not really paying attention. 225 with 3 home runs. Where the fuck was that guy in 2020?
Where the fuck was that?
Why couldn't they have the season 2 years ago?
Yeah.
But honestly, that is where baseball is such a motherfucker. And like if Austin Riley had that season in 2022, then maybe that's the difference. Literally every single Atlanta Brave clicked that year. And you know, it's you can't say it's luck, right? Because it's like the Braves are good and it's not luck. But there is something to like it seemingly works for other teams. There's always one team where it's working for, clicking for. They got lucky. They, you know, when people say like, oh, they're 33-2 in 1-run games, and if that switches, they'll lose, and they never switch. Like that seems to happen to other teams and just never to fucking us. And then the one year when it did happen, the Braves were just, you know, it clicked that much more for them.
You know what they call that, right? That's baseball, Kevin. Oh, it's the fucking pits, man. So the London series, it was, I guess, cool seeing in a different stadium. That's basically going to be the highlight of our year, is going to another stadium, country, hearing another announcer. And then, as my boy Mitch says, though, all hope is not lost, because if the New York Mets win today, they will be 500 against the Marlins. The fucking Marlins, who are in dead last in the National League, 23-44, second worst team in all of baseball. Behind the White Sox are just, I mean, this is like a weekly thing.
I've been saying on this show, like it's going to be a race to the bottom, which team's going to be worse, and then I started, you know, extrapolating their play over 162. They're like about to be they're at like 62 Mets level. Like they're going to lose like 120.
You realize how low the bottom is. I think I had a stat that I don't think I tweeted out. The Chicago Bulls won 39 games this year. The White Sox are on pace to win 39 games. Jerry Reinsdorf owns both those teams.
When I last did a little math, it was like a week ago. They were on pace to lose like 126. It's like, oh.
That'll be what we switch to. It'll just be like, will they have a worse record than the 1962 Mets? So we will not be considered the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
So while we're talking about the London series, there was 2 things Cohen said over there that kind of like got a little bit of a rise. First, he said the fans have been through worse. We're trying to break that history. They're great, and they're certainly going to be there for the team. So it's like a positive quote for the fans, but everyone ran with the fans have been through worse, and it's like, Steve, just not right now.
No,
I don't want it.
And I don't even know if that is a factual statement. In the big picture, yes. Over the course of multiple seasons, yes. That's why I always tell these guys, remember the Wilpons years. I really think people have just like Men in Black themselves and forgot the Wilpons years. And the same thing about everybody like, oh, I want Terry Collins to coach again. It's like, he was so bad. Like people just forget these things, I guess. I don't. I remember all of this. It's ingrained in me. So like over the course of 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15 years, 30 years, yes. Single season? I don't know, man. Because there's nothing worse in my mind than like complete indifference. Like again, I've watched bad teams, but I've watched them and I had hope and I got my heart crushed every day. This is like I'm not even bothering. That's bad, and it's embarrassing bad, and it's guys like Jeff McNeil who like are just, you know, a former shell of themselves and sloppy play and no-name people and injuries. It's like I don't think we have really been through worse. And if you want to say worse, we're nitpicking. We're talking, you know, this is top 3, top 5 worst single seasons ever.
So I've just pulled up on the people watching the video. I got the Mets from basically 07 on. It was after
Ugh.
06, that magical year. And so it's like this is post Madoff, right? So this is when shit really hit the fan because they spent before that, obviously, Beltran, Pedro, yada, yada, Delgado. It's like that 09 season, 70 and 92, 79 wins, 77 wins, 74, 74, 79. It's just indifference.
Yeah,
It's just,
like it's 5-6 straight seasons of 70 win ball. Like,
and 2015, looking back, they had 90 wins. It's because they all got all those wins at the end, and it was so magical. It felt like it was like a 100-win season.
90. I would have 90. That is hilarious.
And even 2016, 87. 87 and 2016. They were like under 500 in late August.
Didn't we win the division by like 9 games that year too? We had it wrapped up. I remember like we played the Reds like early September and they were popping bottles. Can you go give me the 90s? I want to see how bad the 90s were.
Oh boy. Yeah.
This is ugly.
Yeah, so like, you know, when you
59.
When you're talking about 59 wins, 55 wins, I feel like it's Francesa. 59, 55, 69, 71 wins from 92 to 95, 6. Like, you know, not 59 and 103. Like, thank God I was only 8 years old because if I was like an adult for that, I would be, you know, fucking miserable. But he's not wrong. But it's like, you know, you have like, you know, 2 broken legs and broken arms. And it's like, but you don't have cancer. You know what I mean? Like, well, who fucking cares? This all sucks. So
at least 55, they got to pull the eject button early.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Blue Jays weren't happy about it. Everyone else was like, we'll go home.
Seriously.
Oh, so 55 they were almost 500 that year because it was the strikes for 55 and 58.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like 59 the year before, 69 the year after the strike, that team wasn't doing shit.
Yeah, they were going nowhere. Now let's look at scroll back up to attendance for me, or just scroll back up to the main years. I want to look at the attendance.
I sent you guys the picture yesterday. The 50-50 raffle was $40 at the end of the second inning. It's like, don't even put that graphic up there.
Yeah, that's the thing. How do they do that? Like, okay, so 2.5 the last couple of years. We are at almost 1 million, and we are
over a third of the way done.
So it's still
2021 is COVID though, so that's
2021 is COVID, so it's why it's 1.5.
But yeah, so I'm looking at 22 to 23, and then 24 is probably going to be similar, right?
I think we're going to see a steeper drop off, especially if they start trading people.
Yeah, I guess
summer months,
the summer months and like the back half. But I don't know. I think that going to the ballpark has become there's always just like a family of 4 or a group of buddies or a Barstool at the ballpark, and you're not like we go to Barstool at the ballpark every year the same amount of times, whether they're good or bad. I think that's the same thing with people being like, oh, we have a Father's Day tradition, we always go, and then this person always goes on their birthday, and this person has I'm in town, I don't get to see the Mets, I'm gonna go watch them, like shit like that, where it's just people just go to the park no matter what. They eat the fucking food and they want to take the pictures. And so I don't think we have to worry about that, which is a good thing. It's like, I guess I would love it. I don't think that bad attendance would make them want to turn this around anymore. I think Wilpons and them are on the case just as much as if they were, going to have a 1 million fan season.
You said Wilpons. That was a Freudian slip, Kev. That was bad.
Oh no! No! I mean, I really do genuinely still believe in the Church of Cohentology. It's going to take a lot. Like, this has to happen a lot more for me to really bail on this guy, because it's just such a long. We talk about ownership. It's such a long play. You can't talk about game to game. You can barely talk about season to season. You got to think of like chunks of time. It's crazy.
It's not his fault that we got the 2 veterans last year and neither of them panned out. Like, they pushed all the chips in and we're like, we're going to try to be really good this season. Didn't work. Went and got the prospects. He can't help that Starling Marte is going to jog after a fucking single and let it drop, and it turns into a 6-run inning. And you can't even be mad at Starling Marte because he's one of the only guys who's putting the ball in play and getting hits. Like, that's the most frustrating thing. Even the shitty guys on the team are kind of our best guys right now.
Vientos is like, thank God for Mark Vientos, where we were like, a month ago, we're like, fuck this guy, fuck his
Yeah.
Instagram comments.
Yeah.
Hope I never see him in the big leagues ever again. He's a quad A player, and now it's like the living and dying with him. Oh God! And so the other thing is, this is where I'm going to get on Cohen now, because the other line Cohen said, he goes, "I love London. I think the food here is fantastic. I think it's better than the food in New York." Stevie,
That's pandering, right?
That's
It's 100% pandering. He's trying to get fans out in London to root for the Mets.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Bangers and mash. No. Fish and chips. No.
And Steve Cohen can eat at the restaurants that would like make my brain explode. They taste so good too. It's not even like he eats here at the good shit.
Well, that might be the difference though. Steve Cohen might go to London and eat at like places that we don't even know what they are. You know what I mean? Steve Cohen can get 5-star food, Michelin star food anywhere in the fucking world. So, I think if Steve were to take a spin in like the pub, it would be a different story.
Then again, he did
Japanese British restaurant or something. Wherever he took Yamamoto.
Right. Yeah, remember we were trying to. Was it Japanese French? We're like, what food did he even serve there? We didn't even know how it was possible. Meanwhile, it's like he did go on like his tour with what's his name, fucking Flavor Town. He was showing Guy Fieri. Remember that he did his whole. So Steve does have a good tongue, a discerning tongue. So maybe I'm the fucking idiot here.
Whoa, Steve has a pause.
He
has a good tongue.
All right, we're gonna.
Speaking of foreign, though, I went to a game in Queens the other day. It was the best game in Queens I've been to in a long time. I went to USA versus India playing cricket, and it was, first of all, while we talk about food, the concession stands, it was all Indian food. It's crazy. You could get
just everything.
A hot dog and a soft pretzel. That's the only American food. Everything else was like halal and these weird like even like the French fries had like weird onions and weird sauces on it. So because it was like everybody there was Indian or Pakistani or Sri Lankan, whatever it was. So like everything was geared towards them. Cricket is pretty fucking awesome. I am not usually one of these guys that jumps on like, oh, soccer's coming or lacrosse is the fastest growing sport and all that shit. I can get down with cricket. It's like baseball mixed with like a little bit of wiffle ball mixed with running bases. And this is the shortened version of it. So you don't have to watch it for like the true cricket goes on for like days at a time. This is basically 20 innings. And like it was live. It kind of had a soccer hooligan vibe with certain aspects of the crowd. The rest was like a baseball vibe. Like home runs were, still like a big deal. You know what it does? It takes baseball and combines basketball scoring. There's always rather than like, oh, we only scored a couple runs this game. There's always something. You're always scoring like 1 or 2 runs here and there. So like, there's just something to, clap at or get excited for, or, and then when they do make a play, when they do like a fly ball, if you catch a fly ball, it's like the biggest fucking deal in the world. So like the crowd goes wild. If you hit the wicket, it's like unbelievable. I'm usually like, fuck all this. Give me like my American food and my American car while I watch American sports. And I was like, if this is on right now, straight up, if I could easily watch USA cricket play, I would 1,000% watch them over the New York Mets. That's where we're at.
How quickly would it take us taking the All-Stars in America and putting them on the pitch to learn how to play? How quickly do you think it would take for us to be like, this is so fucking easy?
So our team currently is almost 100% comprised of what I have to imagine are either like dual citizenship or guys who were just born here, but are like, it's all Indian guys. I think there was like 1 or 2. There was a guy like Aaron Jones was like, I think our only guy. And then there was another dude, Corey Alexander, who I thought was like a big white guy, but he's from New Zealand. So even those guys are from other countries. So we don't have a team yet of like, this is just a dude born in New York. This is a guy born in California, or maybe they were, but their whole lives are very expat like. It appeared to me that they were not the most of athletic guys.
It's like the same debate of like if you put LeBron James in goal for soccer, like his whole life, I'm sure he'd be pretty fucking good at blocking the shots. You know what I mean?
Everybody who says that about soccer with Russell Westbrook, and I think they would dominate. it's a weird game because you don't have a glove. So there's like at one point, this guy is like not an easy fly ball, but it's kind of over his shoulders. And it looks like he dropped a can of corn, but it's like if an outfielder in MLB didn't have his glove and like was trying to make a barehanded catch and dropped it, you wouldn't be like, oh, you bum, you know? But the whole sport, I'm a novice. So maybe it might be the equivalent of like when someone hits a ground ball to second and they jog down the baseline because like they know it's going to be an out. And you're like, you're not hustling, but it's okay. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In cricket, it looks like there's a lot of not hustling going on. Like you score runs by running back and forth. There's two guys on the wickets. And when you hit the ball in play, if you can get to the other side, it's a run. And there was a couple times where I'm like, I think if you guys were really running, you could have gone twice. If you could have gone 3 times. And it just seems like they kind of jog it out. So I'm thinking if you got like, Tyreek Hill out there sprinting back and forth, it would probably be a different game. Our guys are literally, there's an Uber driver, there's a bunch of IT guys, there's a software engineer. They all have day jobs. So we beat Pakistan, which was the 6th ranked team in the world. And then we hung with India, who's number 1 in the world, until what I would call like the 7th or 8th inning. And so like we were like in upset territory. And then the most like mush Mets thing that could have happened. The final score was we scored 110, so they needed to score 111. So the game ended after 100. It's basically like one gigantic bottom of the 9th inning where you have the lead and you're just trying to hold on to it because you do all your batting first and then they do all their batting. We got a 5-point penalty, which out of 100 points is like a pretty nice chunk for taking too long to like switch during our batting. Like we just like you have 60 seconds to get new guys out there. And we just like walked out there and lollygagged and they had a 5-point penalty. The next hit was a 4-run home run. And like 2 pitches later was a 6-run home run and the game was over. And I was like, hey, I've seen this before. This is like we just put in our reliever and he walked the bases loaded and gave up a grand slam. See you later. But it was much more. Usually, again, I don't. I'm like, whatever. Let me get back to American sports. This was something I was like, I could see all of us watching this and liking it.
How steep was the curve on figuring out what the fuck's going on? Because
it took me a while. I was sitting there like watching YouTube videos and Googling it. But then if you look at this scoreboard, at least once India was up, because we knew what America had done, it puts it into, it says you have 100, you need to score 110 runs and you have 110 pitches left, basically. And then it's like, so when the runs go up and the pitches go down, you're in the lead. So it was kind of like, oh shit, we're opening up a lead. And then it kind of came back and then they started to surpass that. And it was like, that's when I understood what was going on. The first half, I was like, we were up 42-3. And I was talking to the guy next to me. I was like, are we playing good right now? And he was like, you're all right. You're pretty good. But I swear to God, it was like I went abroad for an afternoon. We were the only white people there. And it was a whole bunch of people being like American by address, but Indian by heart. So a lot of people had like double flags and different like split jerseys, taking pictures. I sat on the front row. I figured like, let me get the front row of the higher level. And they all wanted to take pictures with the pitch in the background. So it was just literally a constant parade of people like sitting on top of me taking a picture. It was, and then they're just tearing down the stadium. They just built it for this, and they're like, "See you later." I was like, "Okay, I don't know what else is gonna go there, but we should, I don't know, leave it there. Let people play cricket. I don't know." But
for the first time in my life, I'm worried about the future of Barstool Sports, just because Meek Phil suggested that Rico go to Pakistan to interview people. And it did not somehow get to Dave, who would have approved it instantly, right? Like, Phil, I don't know if you have Dave's number. Maybe next time you just float them or send it to Cat. He'll float it in the morning. And Rico will be like, motherfucker, I got to go to fucking Pakistan.
Wait, what happened to Rico's arm? I didn't catch this. Was it during the basketball game?
It was during the basketball game. The guy, Gus, on Team Minahan tried to say charge, but he said charge with his back turned. So...
And Rico like ran into it with his shoulder?
Rico's in midair. Went face first, like broken arm.
Is it really broken?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fractured it. He smacked his face on the floor.
Bro, this is why I don't play sports. This is why I don't play real sports. Once you're 30, stop playing sports.
And worst part is right hand, can't wipe, can't do any
So,
other
I
things
did
you
see
might
that
do with
clip.
your
How about
dominant hand.
Big Ev, though, being a lefty wiper?
Really?
Big Ev is a righty, but has wiped his ass lefty all his whole life. The craziest thing I've ever fucking heard. He was just sitting there and he was like, I wipe lefty. And people were like, the conversation just shifted from Rico over to Big Ev. He was like, Marty was like, you're not cleaning it enough. You don't have enough control. He's like, I've done it my whole life, so I do have control over it. It's crazy.
I'm trying to think of things I use my left hand for, and I can't really think of any. Now that I think about it.
I've been in a sling a lot. And when you have to like brush your teeth, wipe your ass, like tie your shoes, open up bottles, like do weird things that are just the opposite, putting toothpaste on a toothbrush, lefty, like all of it is so fucking weird. The fact that someone would choose to do that like Ev is crazy.
I've long said that the best diet plan you could have is you have to eat lefty. And then you'll just not want to do it anymore.
Yep.
And this guy Ev doing that. My buddy shoots his bow and arrow righty, but his shotgun lefty when he hunts. And I'm like,
wait, what, bro? Most people are like, my buddy throws lefty but golfs righty. Bow and arrows and shotguns? Well,
he's a hunter. He's a deer
out
hunter. He likes. We're in the fucking Winterfell here. We have hunting. We have hunting up here. So, oh my God. God bless Ev. I mean, the fucking characters here at Barstool. All right, so that was our cricket corner of the week. So you guys get looking forward to that next week. But for people who still want to follow baseball, you can do that on DraftKings. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases full, down 3. The crowd on their feet. The drama of baseball, right, is real, and so is all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook from the first pitch to the final out. DraftKings has you covered with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Tonight, we got the New York Metropolitans squaring off against the Marlins, trying to get above 500 against the Fish for the season. And let's see, we got Severino on the bump against Roddery Munoz. Of course, the great Roddery Munoz himself. Mets are favored, minus 205 money line. Over-under is 8.5 runs here on the book. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers get $5 to get 150 in bonus bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BELIEVE. That's code BELIEVE for new customers to get 150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I mean, you want to get into cricket, just learn how to gamble on cricket. That'll make anyone a fan of learning how to get there. So we'll go back to baseball. Kev, is the Keegan Little League season finally over now? Last
night? So Keegan had not 1, but 2 games canceled because of a coach who was afraid to play against us. And then we had a 3rd game where we always play 3 innings. Each team gets to bat 3 times. We were the home team, so we had batted twice. They had batted 3rd. They walked off the field. They left the field because, and this is still at the level where we don't keep score. Whether you are out or safe, you get to still run the bases, and you pitch to your own team. So really, the other team does not affect. Neither team affects each other, whatever your skill level is. We were teaching our kids to be like, if we did get an out, it'd be like 1 out, 2 outs. Where's the play? Play to first, 3, whatever. They did not like that we were calling out how many outs there were. And the kids were getting upset. So they left. And I'm not usually one of these like pussification guys anymore. But like, I was like, this is what people are talking about. This is what people are talking about. They left mid-game. So we were like, fuck it. We both broke our kids up. They didn't get to their last at-bats. They were all excited to bat a 3rd time. And they just like couldn't do it. So we played a scrimmage. So 2 games canceled. By the same coach, and then this one coach walked off, and then there was also a rain out. So we had 3 games to make up, and they scheduled it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It was like a fucking homestand. I got a 3-game series coming up, and we accomplished something. I don't know if any little league team at this level, these are all like 5 and 6 year olds, have ever done this. I was a late season acquisition for the team when it comes to pitching. We had a couple pitchers, some guys were throwing too slow, some guys were throwing too fast, and I came in and I was Goldilocks. I pitched the final 2 innings the other day. Every 2 innings, so 10 guys all batted. Everybody got a hit. And then I did that 2 more times. These kids got 100 hits in a row off me, Clem.
You have
Everybody, 10 guys went 4 for 4 in one game, 4 for 4 the other game, and 2 for the last 2. No, 3 for 3. So it was 60, 60, 20. So 80 hits.
You had a Thomas the Pucky game.
You're going to be our new 8th inning guy.
I was throwing reverse perfect games. Everybody was hitting. Everybody was running. The parents were like, I also was like rapid fire. I was like, let's go, boys. Let's go. The games were like a half hour shorter. The parents were loving me. I was like, this is the peak of my athletic achievements, pitching to 5-year-olds.
That's plenty of years watching Mets bullpen right there.
I know. You want to hit and score runs? Let's do it.
And that's like the little thing that people without kids don't know. It's like, yes, you want to go to the games, and watching your kid play is fun. And like, the thing is, like, it's fun when they're at bat, and then you're just wasting another like 20 minutes of your time watching other kids run the wrong way. When they fuck up, it's hilarious. Like AJ had a hit the other day, and like the other team, 7 of them piled on each other like the Bad News Bears, and that's cute. But it is watching paint dry. So anytime you get a guy just in and out,
we were in the field. Ball went to the outfield, and we have 2 kids on the team who really will run out of their position all the time to get the ball, and they both met. It was like the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. They got up. One kid took the ball and threw it at the other kid. It hit him in the stomach. He picked it up and threw it back at him. I was like, this is unbelievable. But awesome. Tonight is the so it was 3 games this week. Tonight's the pizza party, and Saturday is the home run derby. I'm all baseballed out, man. I'm little leagued out, dude. I need a break. Let's get back to another sport or something. It's crazy. We also play on the worst fucking field known to man. There's rocks everywhere. I found a pencil on the baseball field today. It's like, what is I think people are intentionally trying to ruin this field for us. But yeah, Little League's been cool. Little League has been, I was saying, when you're parenting, like a lot of shit that you do, you love it because your kid loves it and it's fulfilling and you love them. Doing like, being actually involved in Little League baseball is pretty fun. I actually enjoy myself.
Yeah, for anyone who's like going to have a kid in it soon or whatever, if you can't be the coach, at least just like show, like when you show up to the games and the practice, like help out. That's what I do. Like especially like you never know with like timing and shit like that if you're gonna be able to run every single time for it. But it's like if you show up, there always needs someone to like put balls on a tee or whatever, and then maybe you just show them where to go to the next base. Trust me, shit like that is still
it makes a very big difference, no doubt.
And just most importantly, like you said, just keep that shit moving, let it go quick. 8:30 a.m. because we're at the bottom of the totem pole. We're up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, getting my kids out in like a timely fashion at any time of day, let alone 8 in the morning. It's fucking impossible. And I would have killed that coach with my bare hands if I got all my kids together out of the house to the field and he's like, I don't want to play because you guys say 1 out, 2 outs.
I mean, that guy should be put in jail. Like, he should be kicked out of the league, obviously, but he should absolutely be put in jail. It's terrible.
That coming on the heels of, did you guys see the Marshawn Lynch getting surrounded by the moms at the football field?
No.
He was telling them to get out of his fucking drill verbatim because they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And he just got like ganged up on by all the moms in the stands with the phones and stuff. And he's like, is your husband around? Like, can I talk to literally anybody else?
I'm somewhere in between. Like, yeah. I get it. Like, we have some coaches who were quiet and some coaches who were fiery, and like the kids don't like it when you yell. But I was like, I don't know. There's gonna be coaches who yell at you when you play sports. So you might as well, start to learn. That's kind of how, not yell in a bad way, yell in like an encouraging way, but it still like shocks them, Yeah. But yeah, there's so much like parents bullshit. It's like, it's so crazy, man. It really is.
And then on a bittersweet note, I guess this will wrap up the episode. We have to say goodbye to a real one. Tomas Nido, the Nido King.
Prayers up.
DFA'd. I guess he can get his salary and then still hit free agency. So I guess that's the way it's all working out. So
I hope he gets that, man. He was a fan favorite of ours.
I wish him luck with the Braves in the postseason because I know that's how it's all going to end up.
He's the NLCS MVP. We'll be really happy for him. He should be. He should look into like podcasting, man. He's a funny dude. Anytime we've talked to him, he's been a very very good personality, and like obviously knows the game. Was very humble about himself, and like can talk about the other side.
Him and Guillorme together, they were just on that one stream, and it was like there's something there.
Give Guillorme and Nido a bottle of tequila and a couple mics, and let them go. It's an entertaining show.
Yeah, we got to talk to him that day with the Timmy Trumpets Day, and we're like, and he was pretty honest about everything, and he had some funny shit, and we're like, all right, well, obviously we're gonna have you on the pod at some point, and then it's just goes to show you how quick everything changes. It's like Mets went in the tank. He obviously got sent down. Omar Narvaez fucking fucked everything up, and then the other 20.
But you know what? He was there. Like every time the franchise needed a catcher, somebody got injured, sent down, whatever it was like, bring back Nido. He had some clutch hits.
I'm not even convinced this is the last we've seen him.
I know.
Last season, I'm like, oh man, like we lost the good one, and then I'm like, oh, he's our starting catcher again.
He was the second longest tenured player on the team. It was Nemo and then him.
Yep. No, he's a consummate pro. As long as he stays like in shape, I bet somebody will give him a look, and it might even be us. Because Lord knows, like, to part of me's like, I don't know. I think Nido's better than these guys.
Armand just said, he'll be a Philly because Real Muto's hurt too. I'm like, oh shit, that's actually
there we go. There we go. Yeah, you know how that shit happens. They keep it in the NL East, and you get fucked by them in the end.
Oh God. So for wherever you go, Tomas, no matter who's calling, not calling, you will latch on somewhere. And if you don't think so, gotta believe.
Gotta believe.